Hey there, it is just me, DrBrendaB, the Queen Time Machine. I am here representing the Kingdom Time Zone, God's Clock, and Creation's Watch. My question for you in your 86,400, how you spending? So, today, I got to read to you, so that's why I had to have my glasses on, and I got a couple of props. So just work with me, because today is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. And you all already know that my ask of you is that I'm seeking those of you who are willing to give 1 second of solidarity for every 1 minute of my post, because I believe that 1 solidary second at a time, we can change the face of our planet for the better. So will you stand with me for global peace, positive change, repositioning of our planet for the prosperity of all on behalf of the Creator's kingdom? You know I'm never asking permission, but I'm always only providing a perspective. It is God's clock. It is creation's watch. So as we watch during this dash that we call life, let's unify on that 1% that we can agree on versus the 99% that may possibly divide us. Even if it's 99.9%, then let's coalesce around the 0.01%. You all know what I say. Don't ever count zero out, because zero is never nothing, because it's always up to something. But we want to give 100% to however small the percentage is on our agreement, because it is in that sweet spot that we can make positive social change to make it better, not just for the future, because when is the future? Now. Yesterday is today. Today is tomorrow. Today is always yesterday's tomorrow. And now you know that tomorrow can be today. So it's all about right now. And the best present that you can ever give yourself is one that I gave myself on my birthday. And that is the present of being present in the present. It is the best present. So I'm not going to monitor your seconds, but feel free to share your approach and to offer suggestions, like and share my posts if you're willing to, and then just pay the process forward, because I believe that God not only funds his projects, but he lays it on the hearts of his people who they should support, especially at the end of the year. You're trying to figure out who to give to and all that stuff. You always want to sow into those places that have integrity and that you can trust. Seeds of Wisdom in New Ground is one of those 501c3 organizations that you can do that with. I have been asked to provide that information. So Sowing Inc. is a non-religious, non-profit organization recognized by the 501c3 code at the federal level, and we focus on education and advancing positive change on our planet. So you can certainly give by PayPal, by Zelle, by Apple Cash. You can Cash App, any of those mechanisms to Sowing Inc., and your contribution is tax deductible. Now, I want you to look for the positive in the most negative circumstances and to extinguish the efforts to propel persecution of perils of any kind. Yesterday, I gave you my own interpretation, my own words for you, those of you who asked for it, of solidarity. Solidarity. How many of you can repeat it with me? Do you remember what that was? Solidarity, symbiotic oneness, like-minded indivisibility, deliberate alignment, respecting individuality, travailing yearns. So if you are looking for what solidarity means, when I'm asking you to give 1 second for every minute, solidarity means symbiotic oneness, like-minded indivisibility, deliberate alignment, respecting individuality, and travailing yearns. It is in that that we are going to advance and change the world. Now, happy, holy, holly, Hannah, hip hop, ho, 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 hearth, hot chocolate, ham, harvest, harmony, hope. What the holiday heck? Let me tell you something. December ushers in a number. In fact, the month of the 12 that ushers in the largest number of multicultural celebrations that are recognized in one month. Some of them include Advent, St. Nick's Day, Hanukkah, Christmas, the birth of Christ, as well as Santa Claus, the 12 days of Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's Eve, and the Eve of Epiphany. I've talked about Hanukkah, but today is the third of the eight-day celebration. Talked about a couple of things, so I got a few props that I want to show you. So today is the third day, and including the Shemas, the ninth candle lighting will occur. So remember, the Shemas is this middle candle, so it would have been lit the first day along with going from right to left in the way, and I know you're looking at a mirror image of me, right to left, the same way that the Hebrew alphabet is written. So you have the Shemas, which is that middle candle, and on day one, the Shemas and candle 1 are lit. Then to the left of candle 1 for day 2, the Shamash, candle 1, and candle 2 are lit. And then today, the third day, we will put in candle 3, and then the Shamash plus the 3 candles. That equals 9 lighting so far. So here's how. 1, 2, day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5, day 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the ninth lighting of the menorah. So the other things that would continue is the dreidel. And here is one such dreidel. And this one would say a great miracle happened there versus happened here, because we are not in Israel. And then also we have that sharing of the chocolate candy gift, which I'm showing you right here. And I was gonna open it up, but we see with the dreidel that is also in place, as well as I'm just showing you. Remember, it's about the Maccabees, and this is just a chocolate representation of the Maccabees. So you have the gelt, you have the dreidel, you have the menorah, and then you have other gifts. Here's where stories are being told right now, because it is about that sundown time. Now, when we look at all of these different various celebrations in the month of December, not only are we focused on Hanukkah, but we're going to focus on the other areas that I have just listed. Saint Nick and Santa are not the same, even though they're similar. The differences are not always obvious. So over the next several posts, I will educationally cover these other aforementioned celebrations. But today's post, I just went over where we are in Hanukkah, and today's post, I'm going to focus on St. Nicholas and St. Nick's Day. Now, my background and reference material that you can certainly feel free to look at as well. I did a lot of research on this. I looked at the St. Nicholas Center, Cleveland.com, Wikipedia, Britannica.com, DynamicCatholic.org, the Old Farmers Market Almanac, USA Today, Wall Street Journal, New York Times. So I credit all of them in the information I'm getting ready to share with you. And it is some very interesting information. So on December 6th, the day of his death, St. Nicholas, who was the Bishop of Myra in the province of Lycia during the 4th century, is celebrated. Very little is known about his life, but he is remembered as a man of great faith and compassion. He was also a fierce advocate for those who had been unjustly condemned, but he left behind no writings. The legends surrounding his life are all that we have. Nicholas is most well known in the West as the beloved patron saint of children and gift giving. His connection to the American character of Santa Claus is faint, but some say it can be traced. According to tradition, Nicholas's parents died when he was young, leaving him a large sum of money. With his inheritance, Nicholas practiced charity, helping those in need. One legend in particular illustrates his generosity in that there was a family in his community that was very desperate because the father had lost all of his money and had been unable to find husbands for his 3 daughters, and he was going to have to sell them into prostitution or some other form of degradation because he did not have the money to create a dowry for them peradventure if they were going to be married in the future. So because of that, Nicholas, legend has it, appeared at this widower's home, and he tossed 3 bags of gold into the open window or down the chimney in some versions, thereby saving them from this terrible fate of a father having to sell his daughters into prostitution. This tale is probably the source of his eventual connection to the tradition of gift giving at Christmas. The custom of giving gifts on St. Nick's feast day, which has passed, that would have been December 6th, would have been St. Nick's Day. Some of you I know celebrated it. You can put that in your comments and your posts and however you want to share. But it probably originated in Europe among the Protestants. The Reformation had led many Protestants to all but abandon the remembrance of the saints. But St. Nicholas remained a popular figure, especially among children who received gifts in his name on December 6th. The custom spread with immigration to North America when Dutch children told their English-speaking friends about Sinterklaas, the bishop in red vestments who brought them surprises on his feast day. The American mispronunciation Santa Claus eventually took on a life of its own. This jolly Saint Nick also delivered gifts throughout the chimney, but on Christmas rather than on Saint's Day. He wore a red suit rather than liturgical vestments, though he still vaguely resembled the old depictions of Nicholas, which showed him with a bald head and a full beard. Aside from the obvious disparities between St. Nicholas and the secular Santa Claus, perhaps the most poignant difference between them can be seen in the nature of the gifts that they give. While Santa had his bundle of toys, the gift that St. Nicholas gives is nothing short of freedom from poverty and desperation. The life of St. Nicholas is an example of faith made flesh in actions of true charity. And with St. Nicholas on December 5th, then shoes were placed out. And then on December 6th, on St. Nick's Day, again, remember that is a commemoration of his actual death. Then small gifts would be placed inside of the shoes, and that eventually morphed into gifts being placed inside of stockings on St. Nick's Day. Now, here's a little bit of the skinny and kind of the did you know this about this particular celebration? St. Nick's was said to have some helpers, so traditional companions who punished the naughty children, while St. Nick rewarded the good children, with those popular figures including Germany's Neck Ruprecht or Farmland Rupert and Krampus, France's Pierre Froutard, Father Whipper, and the Netherlands' Zwarte Piet, Black Pete, who often carried switches, coals, or bags to take away misbehaving kids, a stark contrast to jolly old St. Nicholas or Santa Claus that we know in the United States. So now I want to shift and talk about Black Pete, Zwarte Piet, which they say either Dutchland or Netherlands is where this was primarily. This particular helper was most highlighted. But Black Pete was a soot-faced assistant to Sinterklaas, Dutch St. Nicholas, who distributed sweets and switches with his dark appearance, sometimes linked to chimney soot or a Spanish Moor. In the wake of the George Floyd protests in the Netherlands, Prime Minister Mark Rutte stated in a parliamentary debate on the 5th of June 2020 that he had changed his opinion on the issue and now better understood why many people considered the character of Black Pete's appearance to be racist. In August 2020, Facebook updated its policies to ban depictions of blackface on its Facebook and Instagram platforms, including traditional blackface depictions of Zwart Piet or Black Pete. In October of 2020, Google banned advertising featuring Zwart Piet, including soot versions without blackface. Additional companies followed suit, among them Bol, Amazon, Coolblue, who each decided to remove traditional Zwart Piet products and promotions from their services. In November 2020, Vereniging van Openbaar Bibliotheken, please forgive me, a National Association of Public Libraries, also announced that they were in the process of removing books featuring Zwart Piet or Black Pete library shelves. So, celebrations in Aruba stopped using the character in 2020, and the government banned him. Riot police were called into the village of Staphorst after pro-Piet demonstrations violently attacked anti-Piet demonstrators prior to a celebration in November 2022 of St. Nick's Day. A similar incident occurred a year later, 2023, in the town of De Lier. Anti-Piet demonstrators were painted with fireworks and eggs after pro-blackface demonstrators vandalized nearby surveillance cameras and were later discovered to have weapons in their vehicle, as well as hay bales and containers of manure set aside for further attacks. So today's post is about highlighting St. Nick's, and remember all the good of it. I'm sure many enjoyed a wonderful December 6th this year, but just know that there is other history, and some of us may not realize why some of our families, those of color, may not have advanced this celebration. So go and do some of your research, not only on St. Nick and Santa Claus, but also on St. Nick's helpers, including Black Pete. That is the education I want to provide for you today, and that is the 1% and the 0.01% that we can give 100% to. Go and check it out for yourselves. I just want you to know that when I say 86,414, 40, and 24, all of them are different, those 11 digits, but they all represent the same thing, and each of us have gotten a new deck of them today. So, how you spend it? Just one solitary second at a time, simply because we can. So now this particular educational post has been right now 18 minutes and 34 seconds long. So I'm giving you a little more history today. But still, if we just do 10% of that, what I am asking you for is simply about that 190-second period to stand in solidarity with me. Every 5 minutes is 300 seconds. Every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes I spend on a post, I'm asking you for 30 seconds back. So every 10 minutes, I'm asking you for 60 seconds back. Every 15, I'm asking you for 90 seconds back. And every 20, I'm asking you for 120 seconds back. So this is more of a 2-minute request of you, of your whole deck, of your entire 86.4. I just want to know if you'll give 120 seconds back in solidarity, that we're standing and saying celebration is something we're going to herald and division is something that we are not going to tolerate. And I'm not talking about difference, because difference is not only tolerated, but it's celebrated. And that's why I'm going to be providing education on a diversity of celebrations that occur in the month of December. So this is not about division, this is about unity. It is about understanding all the diverse lenses that people look at a day, one of lamentation and one of celebration. Always honor that. Every single day is someone's day of celebration, but someone else's day of lamentation. So as we appreciate each other more and more and more, let us unite in solidarity, one solidarity second at a time, just because we can. Just me. I'm your host. I'm your colleague. I'm your friend. I'm the Queen Time Machine, DrBrendaB. So come back because I'm going to give you a little more education on tomorrow. Share it with someone else. Thank you for sharing this time with me. Thank you for allowing me to be the student and not only the teacher, because the teacher needs to become the student so that students can become the teacher, because we are lifelong learners. Happy, holy celebration in whatever your tradition may be. Until soon, Agape and Shalom.